Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Racha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And in this lesson, I wanted to speak on the change of pace, right? I'm sure brothers have noticed, right? If you've been sort of observing the times, and I mean like quite literally the times, time is feeling like it's moving even faster, right? And for some years now, we've been saying that it feels like time is moving faster, but it feels like it is sped up even more, and things are picking up, right? Like we always bring out Habakkuk the second chapter, where it reads Habakkuk 2 and 3, right? I'm quoting it, that though it tarry, wait for it, right? Because it shall surely come, it shall not tarry. And now we're seeing, these events, these prophecies starting to pick up pace very quickly. And the Lord is controlling it all. And in seeing that, not only does it tell us, obviously, what's taking place, but it also gives us an insight as to what the Lord is getting ready to do next, right? Because we know how the Lord has set up these prophecies. We know that there is a chronology to the different events that need to take place ultimately before the end comes, before the full-on destruction comes. But when the Lord starts picking things up, that means you gotta know that, all right, the Lord is getting ready to pretty much close out the show. And so you shouldn't now be trying to pick up your plow. You should be now, if you gotta turn up the speed, turn up the intensity, and make sure your house is in order, right? If your house is not in order, get it in order, but make sure your house is in order. Now, when I say your house is in order, typically, when you think of your house, you think of you, right? Your those that are under your household. If you're a man, being that you're the head of the household, in most cases, getting your house in order, what it starts with first and foremost is you. In the book of some of Peter's writings, I forget exactly which book and which chapter, but he mentions that judgment will begin at the house of God first. And if it first begin at us, right, where shall the ungodly or the sinner appear? Roughly paraphrasing. So for you to get your house in order, that first starts with you. And it starts mentally. Meaning that we live in a life where there are more things that stress you out than there are things that don't. But if you have your heart set on the right things, and your focus is zoned in on the spiritual things and the scriptures, and watching the signs and these prophecies, you'll be able to know, okay, what should be prioritized. Because aside from the things that are written in the scriptures, aside from the things that involve serving the Lord, most of the things are temporary. Your status in this life, the job that you have, the place that you live, all of these things eventually are going to come to an end. But the word of the Lord is going to persist, and the works that you do for the Lord are going to persist as well. Okay? So that is something that we ought to always keep in mind, especially in these times, concerning getting your house in order. Right? It starts first with your mind, with your mindset. As the angel, I quote this from time to time, but as the angel Uriel told Ezra, to put off the weak nature, right? Put off that weak nature, because as the Lord is picking things up, we've been asking for that. We've been asking for the Lord to speed things up. We've been asking for the Lord to have things turn up so that the next phase of prophecy can kick into gear, and we can get it moving, because the sooner that happens, the sooner the Lord can come back, and the sooner the kingdom can be ushered in. Well, that also involves, us being ready, because if the Lord picks up the pace, it's like running or walking on a treadmill, and then the Lord starts to pick it up, and now you get into the point where you got to start jogging, and now you get into the point where you got to start running, and then you got to full on sprint. You got to be ready to pick up that pace, because if you asking for a higher intensity, but you're not ready to run, or you're not ready to sprint, you're gonna fall off that treadmill, because you're in the zone of walking. Meanwhile, things are the speed is on sprint. See, so as things turn up, that also means that the things you're used to in your day-to-day life are gonna change. When all hell breaks loose, you're not gonna go, oh, I'm driving to work and then I'm coming back home now and I'm gonna turn on the news or turn on the computer and see what's going on, turn on YouTube, see what's going on, and maybe do a video or something. That's not going to be the case, right? When the famine of the word comes, as usual, as unusual as it might seem, depending on what else is happening at the same time, we're not going to be out there on the highways and byways. We're not going to be putting up videos anymore. So your life will change. So the change that that we are asking for, we also got to be ready to change, because as the saying goes, the only constant in life is change. So when you understand that and you're comfortable with that, you're gonna be able to better adjust and be resilient to whatever situation you're put in. And we don't know exactly what situation we're gonna be put in. We know the Lord is gonna be with us, right? We have faith that the Lord is gonna be with us, but we don't know exactly what situation we're gonna find ourselves in, that we're gonna see, that we're gonna hear, that we're gonna experience. So if you're of the mindset to be ready for anything at any time, then regardless of what situation you find yourself in, that's right, we do what's right. It's on somebody's license plate. Um, Regardless of what situation you find yourself in, you're gonna be able to adapt, because you're in the mindset that you're ready. Okay, you're asking the Lord to turn this thing up. Remember, some of the precepts that we quote quite often, we bring out quite a lot. Jeremiah 30:7, the time of Jacob's trouble, Daniel 12:1, Matthew the 24th chapter. All these mention, right, their precepts with each other, and they mention this time that we're about to enter into, or that we're already in, but it being a time like never before. And that means that we're gonna see and experience things that have never been seen and experienced before. So as much as we ask for the Lord to hasten the days, we also have to be prepared to handle what that comes with. Okay, what the hastening of the days comes with, what the new state of life will come with, at least while it lasts, until the rest of the prophecies fully come to pass. Okay, so as much as we pray for the Lord to hasten the days, we ought to pray for that spirit, of sustenance, of faith, of responsibility, of being able to endure hardship as a good soldier, right? As the Lord said, if you pray to the Lord for the tools needed to do the job He has asked you to do, to be well equipped for it, of course He's going to answer. Because why are you asking for these things? Well, you're asking for these things so you can do what He requires, and that's pleasing to the Lord. Okay, so whoever you may be, brother, sister, whatever the case is, believer, prophet, teacher, we all have our roles to play. We all have our lots, but remember that eventually that temptation and that test that's coming is still coming for everybody. Okay, and we're hastening today. We want to get out of here. The scriptures say, through much tribulation shall we enter into the kingdom. So prepare your mind and be ready. That yes, go ahead, JT. But when the EMP hits and there's no power, the Lord might have you tried for a little while, but you might go a day or two without power, without water. And see, what it's actually like to be in the midst of a time like never before, right? Where you feel a strong grip of fear just creep upon you for a second there before the Lord catches you. All right, you're gonna have some people that are gonna bug out because it's beyond what they were prepared for. And what keeps us stable and what will keep us stable is the spirit of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. So on initial impact, it's like, oh shit, and then the spirit grounds you, right? It keeps you strong. And if the Lord doesn't put that spirit upon you, you're gonna get carried away. You're gonna get overwhelmed, but not in a good sense. So this is something to keep in mind, right? As prophecies are unfolding, as we're getting closer and closer to the the closing of the show, keep that in mind, that it's gonna come with great intensity. And we got to be able to level up to match that intensity. All right. Because you either get on board or you get left behind. And this is, trust and believe, this is not the train that you want to get left behind on. All right. So with that, I'm going to end it here. I was on the road, so I wasn't able to really just pull and read precepts. But at this point, you know, we should be familiar with the scriptures. But in any case, I quoted them, right? So if you want to read them, you can go and find those precepts that I quoted and read them, if need be. But Lord willing, the message was received. It was edifying and informative and exhorting. And in closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachak Wadash. Until next time, Shalom.